Y'all, I get it. You're hustling, you're tired, you feel like you're grinding 7 days a week, but you're not really getting the results you need. So, in this episode, I'm going to go over how many conversations you actually need to have to get to 24 transactions a year. Hey, y'all, I'm Brad Allen, and I'm here to help new and struggling agents in their first few years who are working hard, but still haven't gotten consistent closings yet. And you're wondering, like, hey, is this business even going to pay off? So in this episode, I'm going to break down the exact math so you know your personally weekly conversation numbers so you can finally stop hoping for closings and start planning for them. And I've also created a free conversion calculator so you can download that at the end of this episode and you can plug in your numbers and track it for yourself. So here's the big misconception in this is if you talk to enough people, you're going to close enough deals, which is a great assumption. But is it really enough conversations? See, the thing with inconsistent closings, they're going to leave you stressed, right? They're going to keep you unsure if your efforts are actually working, and they're going to really make you frustrated and probably affect your home life. So I want to help you quit spinning your wheels and get exactly and clearly confident in the intentional conversations you need to have. So another problem is it's not effort, y'all. So many of us think that if we just grind and grind and grind, we're going to get the deals we want. But what you really need is the clarity on the number. You need the quality conversations. And once you know exactly how many quality conversations you have, that's going to lead you to how many contracts, buyer agencies you get, and that will lead you to how many closings you get. It's just a mathematical formula. It's kind of like a baseball player tracking all of their stats. If once you start tracking your stats, you know where your gaps are and you're going to start closing more deals. So how many conversations do real estate agents really need to break down to know they're going to have consistent closings? Because here's the thing, your income isn't controlled by motivation. It's controlled by how many real estate conversations you have every week. And I want to repeat that. It is by how many real estate conversations you're having every week. If you're like me, you know agents out there that are absolutely crushing it. And they're out there talking to everybody and anybody. And you're like, how are they doing it? They're just having conversations. Well, that's it. They're looking at these conversations and picking up little nuggets. They're hearing somebody say, hey, we're going to be an empty nester in 2 years. They're hearing somebody say, hey, I really like that house that was just listed down the street. And they're turning those into opportunities. But they come for having conversations and working in real estate into them. So here's a step-by-step breakdown I want to give to you, right? So let's start with a clear goal. You want to have 24 closings this year. And to break it down, that means 24 deals, easy math, divided by 12 months. That's going to be 2 deals per month. Are you going to have 2 deals per month every month? No, you might have 3 one month, you might have 0 the next and 4 the next. You're going to get through this rhythm at some point. But the average new agent equals 40 to 60 conversations to get one closing. 40 to 60 conversations. And I think what we need to do here is split the baby, right? So let's say it's 50 conversations. Yes, can you go out and have 50 conversations a day? Absolutely. But what's the quality of those conversations? What are you actually trying to pull out of people? And yeah, I hear you already saying, I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to be commission breath. Cool, don't. Watch some other videos. Don't be commission breath. But having conversations is not hard. People love talking about real estate, so you have to be the one to initiate a lot of these conversations. And if we get into these conversation calculations, right, let's talk about this. We have 2 deals per month times 50 conversations. That's obviously 100 conversations per month. 100 conversations divided by 4 weeks is 25 conversations per week. You see where I'm going with this? 25 conversations per week divided by 5 work days, which I think you're cheating if you're only working 5 days. That is 5 real estate conversations per day. Guys, if you can't do 5 real estate conversations per day, you're not a real estate agent. Like, I don't know what you're doing. You might be a graphic artist. You might be trying to be an influencer. You might just be the office socialite, but like, you're not really doing real estate. Your job is to go find people. So I want you to look at your calendar the last couple of weeks and how many conversations did you have with somebody that intentionally talked about real estate? I think it's gonna be a lot less than you think. So remember, don't set the goal too high. You don't need to have 100 conversations a day. You need to have 5. 5. You can do this. 5 conversations per day. So step 2 in this is we need to get the lead to closing conversion rates set up, right? And so we got to understand how many touches this actually is, because again, we know that it's going to be 25 conversations per week equals 100 conversations per month, which equals, the number that you need, which is an average of 50 conversations to get 24 deals. Not every conversation becomes a client, and not every client becomes a closing. We know that. So just because we're doing these 50 conversations, that's the starting point. That's not the whole goal. So here's the realistic agent pipeline that we need to talk about. Out of those 50 conversations, mathematically 20 will continue to be future conversations. 10 will turn into serious, 5 will meet with you, 3 will sign with you. Let's break this down a little bit, because sure, 50 conversations, 20 will turn to future conversations. What is a future conversation? What I want you to get in the habit of, and I want you to pay attention to this, I want you to carry a little notebook. And after you have a conversation with somebody, literally anybody, take a debrief moment. Go back, replay that conversation in your mind and say, did we talk about real estate? Probably. Did they say anything that I can maybe help them with? That's where we lose this train of thought. We don't debrief ourselves on the conversations and write down that little nugget of what we need to sock away to rehash later. So that's how you get those 20 conversations. You're at a baseball game and they're like, actually, it happened to me this morning. I'm at the gym working out. A guy comes up who I know and said, how's the market? Like, it's great. He's like, yeah, I heard the rates are going lower. Yeah, absolutely. What I'm seeing is somewhere in the upper fives. Like, that's great. He's like, yeah, my grandkid's looking for a house. He's out there shopping. Boom. Did I want to go right into it and start hammering him and like, give me your grandson's number. Give me this. Give me that. No. But what I can do, and I will do, is I will follow up with him today and shoot him a text and be like, dude, we just listed this cute 3-1 bungalow down the street. I don't know. I'm not sure what your grandson's price point is, but it made me think of you, that conversation. Is there anything I can do to help your grandson? Or would you mind making an introduction for us? I'd love to be able to have a conversation with them and see if I can help him find a house he wants. That's the 20, right? So you have the 50 conversations that just happened. You have the 20 that turn to something else. The 10 serious, so use that same example. He may say, oh, he's already working with somebody. Cool. Not gonna be one of my 10. Or he might say, absolutely. He's just been looking on Zillow. I've been trying to get him to talk to somebody. This will be perfect. Cool. There's my 10. That turned into a serious conversation. I'll reach out to grandson, right? Maybe he just ghosts me forever. So it's not going to turn into the 5 that meet with me. But maybe he's like, dude, yes, I want to go see that house today. Perfect. There's my 5. We get to the buyer agency conversation. Let's say it goes well. Awesome. I just picked up a client by having a conversation, and I didn't even have the conversation. The conversation found me. So it's not as hard as we think, but you've got to go back to that one principle. Carry a little notebook, use the notes app on your phone. That's fine too. But after every conversation you have, figure out if there's a nugget that you can work in it. And if you're not sure how to have these nuggets or have these conversations, shoot me a DM with some examples. Let's talk through it. There's always a little bit of a line that you can pull that will help you get to the closing. And I want to also just warn you, it's not something to get down in the dumps about. There are going to be days and weeks where you're going to have conversation after conversation after conversation, and it's going to lead nowhere. But you're also going to have days where you're going to have 5 for 5. It's just going to happen. So remember, it's not everyday progress. It is the journey that's going to lead you into it. And as we're tracking these numbers later on, what you need to know, if you're having this many conversations and it's not going anywhere, you need to get with a coach. You need to DM me and let's have a conversation about what you're talking about, because there's probably a disconnect. Maybe there's a hesitancy for you actually to say something that you need to say that will get them across that line to meet with you. So now that we have the conversion math kind of out of the way, here's the next thing we need to do. And you know me, I love a calendar, I love a good time block, but you need to build this into your calendar. This needs to be the holy grail of your calendar. You need to have a spot set aside for this if you're going to try and do this from a prospecting standpoint. Or maybe when you're working on your calendar on Sundays, see my other videos, you can say, hey, I'm going to a networking event. And maybe you set an internal goal of meeting 10 new people. That could be a way that you do it. But you need to stop waking up in the morning and be like, what should I do today? How many conversations do I need to have? You should know that. It should be lined out. Because here's the thing. A lot of us get caught in the weeds. We're going to go through our database. We're going to get lost. We're going to start reading notes, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden 2 hours have gone by because we wanted to add a new tag for something 3 months from now. You need to be able to have a list of people that you can follow up with daily. And that way you walk in, you knock it out. A little thing that works for me, because believe it or not, I do make phone calls. I have I won't tell you what they are because it's not really appropriate, but I have little things on my desk that when I do what I need to do, I move it to the other side. When that bucket is empty, I know that I have hit my goal for the day, and mine's 14. So I equate moving a physical object. And if you're not in the office, put it in your pockets, do marbles. I don't care. Like put four marbles in your pocket. And every time you have a real estate conversation, put it in the other pocket. That way, one, it's good for you because you know that you accomplished something that day. You know that you pushed that rock just a little bit further than you did yesterday. And it's a mental thing that you know that you're actually making progress. So a couple things that you can actually focus on and it's practical is right, like sphere of influence calls, follow-up calls, and maybe leads. God forbid if you do open houses, you can call those people. And then people you meet in daily life, like the guy from the gym. The most critical truth that most agents miss is they're struggling because they're not hitting their goals, right? And they're not hitting their goals because their goal is not really the actions they need. I need 24 closings, but they have no clue how to get there. And the average agent has between 0, which I agree, I think is probably the biggest, and 2 conversations a day. So let's use my math real quick. That's 10 conversations a week, 500 per year, 50 to 1 ratio, right? So that means you're only going to do 10 deals. So can you up that and do 24 deals? It's a very simple math equation, and you can get down to brass tacks of I did it or I didn't do it, and you're going to know whether it's working for you pretty quickly. So here's some takeaways I want you to know about this. If you control the conversations, you're going to control your closings. I have a whole video on the Ford method. I did not make this up. I'm sure it's trademarked somewhere, but it's family, occupation, recreations, dreams. You need to go watch that video. That will take you through, it could be a 2-hour conversation just following that format. How's your family? How's work? What you doing for fun? What you dreaming about, right? If you go through those, they're going to reciprocate and you're going to have the information you need. If you can't figure out a way to help service your clients or your future clients through asking their family, their occupation, their recreations, and their dreams, guys, we need to start back at a different level because the conversation is the least of your problems right now. So follow that method because now you're going to be controlling your closings. So if nothing else, I want you to take this away from this video. You control your income, and it's not controlled by luck. It's controlled by how many real conversations you will have today. Once you know your number, your business stops feeling random. It stops being a guessing game. You stop wondering. You start knowing exactly what you need to do to achieve your goals. If you haven't already, comment below and get the free conversion calculator worksheet. Take a few minutes, plug in your numbers, and if you don't like the outcome of what you put in, then let's go back to the inputs and see if we can get those higher. And don't miss the next episode because we're going to be talking about 3 money traps that quietly are killing real estate agents' business. We're going to be talking about something that quietly keeps a lot of agents broke, even when they're hitting their goals. So this episode's all about money and how it actually helps you make money. So I'll see you in the next video, and I'd love to see your comments.